Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Nick Chancer from Holistic Health Anxiety Coaching, Anxiety Talks podcast. So, welcome back to this episode. This one is a wonderful one. I know we're all feeling wonderful around Christmas time, or trying to be beautiful, wonderful around Christmas time. And I hope everyone's doing well, and just wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a very wonderful festive one, and trying to keep positive as much as we can. I think. And reducing our anxiety. So today I thought I've had something on my mind I just needed to express, and it was about the topic is the title of it is the power of non-engagement with thoughts and like having the observing mind. And I guess it's a practice that I'll mention it later on. That it's a practice the monks do a lot. They're able to build this kind of awareness that we can do that. We are, habitual creatures, and we are what we do most of. And when you think about it, we can't stop thinking, but we can ease the thinking, and through meditation, I also provide a meditation for us all. Take you through a guided meditation on this particular topic. So let's begin, shall we, on this particular topic, the power of non-engagement with thoughts and the observing mind. So what does that mean? In other words, in our world, we have a lot of thoughts. Thoughts are just rushing insanely through our minds, and they're inconsistent. They're just consistent. Sorry, they're just coming at you, right? We have this thing called the conscious and the unconscious. And when they clash together, it causes reactions, it causes responses. So this particular practice, the practice of non-engagement, becomes your sanctuary, your safe space, my safe space. This is the ability, my friends, to become the observer rather than react to our thoughts, right? Uh, and rather than react to our thoughts, you will use this powerful skill which creates this, through various meditation. We can do this through various meditation practices, including those observed and practiced by monks, as mentioned earlier. Let's go dive deep and explore, into this kind of area, and look at the profound benefits of becoming an observer or practicing. It's going to be a practice. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come straight away. It really is practice. For those who are mindful and meditators, practicing meditation, you know what I mean, how powerful this is to become the observer of our thoughts and then create this resilience. And anyway, we also look into the areas of Vipassana, which is a Buddhism kind of practice where you go for 10 days without talking. All right. It's just being with your thoughts and with your mind. This is something that must be done in your lifetime. All right. To be able to go into a silent, safe space and facilitated by monks of the Buddhism kind of area practice and yeah, go into that in the psychology and the philosophy of Buddhism, and also where you can see how the mind plays out. Okay, so let's move on. What about, but before we need to do that, let's kind of go try to understand a little bit more, all right? Get an understanding of non-engagement, all right, with thoughts, with our conscious choice to reframe, to rechange the and entanglement with the unnecessary chatter of the mind or the chatter of the mind. Instead, we can become, instead of becoming like absorbed in our thoughts. So we always do. You can't help it. Conscious marries the unconscious. We got to divorce ourselves from the conscious and the unconscious, and somewhere become the observer, somewhere in the middle, and learn to become the observer of those passing phenomenon, all those passing thoughts. This particular practice is actually the foundation. Many meditation traditions where the aim is to cultivate mindfulness and awareness. So it is a practice of mindfulness. It's amazing when we do practice mindfulness how we can't become so reactive, right? Yeah, we become more responsive. Okay, so what is the role of the observer? Let's talk to that. The role of observer. The observer's role is crucial in this practice. When we adapt the perspectives of the of an impartial witness, you're the witness. We create a safe space to examine our thoughts without judgment. Without judgment, this observational stance allows us to just detach from the emotional charge that's created, especially during this Christmas times. Family, you know, we're always going to have war, internal war. You don't even see it, but we're always at war. Chaos is always with us. Ego always plays, and but we have a chance now to learn how to set aside and just become the observer, and again, seeing that emotional charge. It accompanies our thoughts, okay, and creates this sense of, and then again, leading us to a sense of clarity. As I mentioned, Vipassana meditation. Let's go a little bit on that now. Vipassana meditation is one of the oldest forms of meditations, all right, in Buddhism. It emphasizes the importance of observing thoughts and sensations without the attachment, without the enmeshment, in the psychological term there, without the enmeshment. We tend to enmesh ourselves in a lot of things. And practitioners just sit still, in silence. They focus on their breath, while allowing their thoughts to arise and pass away. This particular method encourages a deep understanding of nature, of thoughts, and impermanence, an impermanent quality of life. And then leading us into kind of a safe space. And so we can now understand and to be able to fully engage in this practice. A safe space is very essential for us. We need to be led into that. We need to lead ourselves into that. A quiet environment, free from distractions, the busyness of, Christmas time and New Year's time and anything leading up to this, and that'll help us to provide us the ability to observe without the interferences. So this safe space is important for us to be able to have to practice this. This setting will mirror the tranquil atmosphere found in monasteries where monks practice meditation, allowing deep introspection. One of my desires and cravings is to, travel to Bhutan and be with the monks in a monastery. That is available, and I can invest myself for at least 7 days practicing the monk traditions, and one of them would be the Vipassana in this kind of area, and it'd be a wonderful safe space to practice. When we go into processing painful thoughts, moving on a little bit now, one of the significant benefits of being an observer is the opportunity to process painful memories of thoughts. Instead of pushing them away, and we need to be able to acknowledge their presence. Maybe there's something for them to teach us, something that we're pushing back, something that we're stuck on, something that memories are stuck on. And we need to be able to witness these and say forgiveness and be with them and realize it's okay. It's not exactly our fault. We can't control the duality of this life. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. I hope that this kind of impresses on your mind the value of this particular little message here. We can't keep pushing away. We need to acknowledge the presence so we can heal. Now, this practice practice teaches us to confront gently, calmly, with compassionately, confront our fears and any traumas, leading to more profound understanding of ourselves. Now, let's move on to the cycle of intrusive thoughts. A lot of us are reading and trying to get so much information, looking at YouTube clips, just so we can have some ideas, some practices. We're all relaxed in Christmas time, all right? But this is kind of like ammunition ready to fire when we're not so relaxed in the normal intrusive days. So these intrusive thoughts can be daunting for all of us. I've had a 2-month session where this just recently, where I had a lot going on in my mind, and I didn't even have the energy to produce the next podcast. That's how bad it was. But it's life, and I sometimes you just need support to help you, right? Reach out to support, family, anyone that's able to listen to you, is able to change the polarity of the energy and create some hope about it, all right, about those thoughts. Anyway, through the power of observation, you can learn that these thoughts do not define you, all right? And by recognizing them as transient, we can reduce the power power over our mental states. Again, not mashing into them. This shift, right? This paradigm shift in perspective is liberating and essential for emotional well-being for all of us. And again, we need to reach to the state of non-judgmental awareness. Imagine, what are you gripping onto? What are you grappling with? What are you holding tight onto? Is it worth it? What is it you're not going to surrender? Right? These are the key words. And if we're doing any of these, of course you're going to have this judgmental, you're going to be judgmental in all your thoughts. And then you're engaging in grappling and mashing yourself into them. But instead, pause back, go beyond yourself, right? You are the observer, whether you might not know this, but you are the observer, observing, just become the observer of thoughts with non-judgmental. Non-judgmentally is a cornerstone of this practice, right? That's it there. This is what holds everything together. And once we learn to refrain from labeling thoughts as good or bad, there's no such thing as just duality, it is life. We create this sense of acceptance and surrendering to it, and forgiveness and compassion. Now, this non-judgmental awareness creates compassion, as I mentioned, towards ourselves and our own experiences, paving the way for personal growth, my friends. What about emptying the mind? Many times, a lot of martial artists will say, empty the mind. Even a chap like Bruce Lee, empty the mind. And we kind of wonder, what is this emptying the mind? How do you do that? It is a practice of becoming the observer, all right? Practicing going beyond ourselves and allowing consciousness, be one in presence for consciousness, rather than allowing the subconscious to come in and take over our thoughts. So emptying the mind through like breath technique, always like when you take a big breath in, right, you can feel that middle section, all right, between the yin and yang there. If you just do that, take a big breath in, and either through the nose or through the mouth, it doesn't matter, but as long as you can just go into that space, all right? Just through the breath is such an easy technique. This will provide an ability to become the observer. And by focusing on the breath, just the breath, be with the breath, we anchor ourselves in the present moment, creating like this buffering against the onslaught of thoughts, the slaughter, I should say onslaught, the slaughter of thoughts. I'm sorry I had to giggle there, but I'm not. Actually, I enjoy that giggle. But it is the slaughter of our mind through our own duality of our thoughts. All right, taking this thing too seriously. Okay, in the last podcast I mentioned doesn't matter. It does matter, but if one imagine, taking a big breath and getting these thoughts, especially the ones we need to address, we need to see, and then say, "Well, got it. It doesn't matter." All right. This mindful breathing, going back to that mindful breathing, serves as a reminder to return to a state of calm wherever we feel overwhelmed and wherever we need to go into our presence and beyond ourselves. Let's give light to the nature of thought, understanding the nature of thoughts. Thoughts are fleeting and they're impermanent also, practicing impermanence. This is very important to know. They're not going to be here with you unless you hold and grapple with them, unless you want them, unless you don't know any different. So, thoughts arise, linger, fade away, much like clouds like passing through the sky. In many meditations, we mention that all the time. Clouds, just like clouds passing through the sky. Now, you being the observer and understanding this process, you can create this sense of detachment, recognizing that you are not your thoughts, all right? These are just passing, but they're just stories, all right? Stories that you're attaching to. Stories, all right? We all need to be in the present moment now. It's recreating new stuff. That has been the past. Okay, so sometimes we need to recognize them but not feel guilty about those thoughts. Sometimes our backstories or past creates this guilt feelings, or should have done this and I should have done that, and why didn't I do that? And that's the past. You did your best. That's all you can do. Okay, so we have to acknowledge, forgive ourselves, show compassion to everything, and the most important, show compassion to ourselves. And again, only through being the observer and understanding the process. What about without we need to be able to create patience in our lives. Going back of many, many, many podcasts, I did a little piece on patience. What is patience? But not going to that today, but I'm going to talk about now patience. Now, our journey, this journey of becoming an observer, requires patience and practice. Those two words, two P's, patience and practice. And I take a sip of my coffee here and finding, the patience. And it's not an overnight transformation, right? It takes gradual steps, more gradual steps. And it's a learning behavior, so we can learn to navigate the landscapes of our minds, and it takes patience with time. Time is the healer, my friends. Time is the healer. And especially if that reminds me of the book that I'm currently reading at the moment. It's by Claire Weeks, and it revolves around nervousness and anxiety, and how we can ruin our nerve systems, and just through negative thinking and not knowing how to be the observer. And within our mind, and not being able to, kind of the last part was about time is our healer, right? Time is our healer. And we need to give it time. We can't. And if you can, if you are experiencing some pain at the moment, like I've got pain on my left hand underneath the elbow, I'm not sure what I've done, but I can feel maybe I've lifted some heavy bags or something and snapped the something there anyway. Muscular tension, but it's okay. I know that with positive thinking that will heal. But time, I'm going to give it time. Like all things, I can just become the observer of that sensation. But I know with time it will heal, and allowing my nervous system to relax. All right, that's one of the keys. And hopefully I will put a lot of chapters on that particular book. All right. And patience is the key. What about building emotional resilience now? We talk about a lot about resilience, emotions over within my podcast. And as we, create the ability to become the observer rather than engage and now being mashed into the story, we can build emotional resilience. This resilience allows us to face our own life's challenges with a sense of equanimity, all right? Somewhere in the middle between the yin and yang, or, the midpoint, or somewhere in the middle, somewhere where things goes ape shape, just before that moment of either too much of this or or a little bit of this, but you need to find the middle, or too much or less of something. It's where the needle swings in the energy, energy goes, right? Where our focus goes. So we need to be able to, yeah, live in that, in that equanimity. Find that through mindfulness and meditation. All right, so then we can learn to navigate the stresses. All right, anything that's stressing our lives, and to always empty the mind and have a clear mind. All right, as I mentioned, and then we can have this better decision making, and then we can be rooted, right, rooted in the awareness rather than reactivity. So anytime some of my favorite authors say that if you can sit in the disturbance without in allowing the disturbance, okay, and become the observer of your disturbance, you, my friend, are miles away from 95% of the population on this earth to be practicing. You are the top 5%, almost reaching monk, a Buddhist monk level, if you can learn to be in the equanimity of everything with a clear mind. What about looking at hope? Hope is a wonderful thing. Like I know, there's something that I'm working on at the moment, and it's actually quite a self healer, but it does involve like chatting, right? Actually talking about what your problem is, what your pain is, identifying the pain, and then through that, being authentic with all this, and through that, you find that there is hope. And through that, you find a solution. Everything has a solution as long as you give it a chance in this journey to provide you with a solution. All right? This can help. So I'm working on that at the moment for myself. I find it's very valuable and it has helped me through the journey. All right? And I need to also clear the mind just by, being authentically voicing, of all the things that I'm thinking, and I'm being enmeshed with at the moment. So, but I'm recovering now. And with time, I will recover. Yeah. So let's go back on the hope. This is the practice of observation. Only through observation can you see the hope. And when you acknowledge, and when we all acknowledge our thoughts and feelings without this judgment, we create this wonderful space for healing and growth. Time. This helpful, perspective, will enable us to envision solutions and possibilities, transforming our relationship with adversity. Again, can you sit in your adversity? Not fight it, not push it, not really get it so deep in your consciousness that then becomes a problem for us, or for you, or for me, right? So let's go on the journey of self-discovery rather than anything else, right? And through the practice of this non-engagement, right, non-engagement of thought, we will go on a journey of self-discovery, right? That's what we're doing. That's why you're here, actually. You're learning. And welcome aboard, right? Glad you're here learning this kind of stuff, right? To give you an easier life. Maybe you were an old soul, new soul, right? Or somewhere between. And you've come here with a lot of baggage. Welcome, old soul. I welcome you. Welcome. Because you've come with baggage, right? From your last life, if you believe in that, in the Buddhist way. And you've come here reincarnated, all right? So what's happening here is you're an old soul rediscovering itself, and the baggage you collected, you weren't aware of your last time, but now you got to come in. To have a chance to relive this life, you've got to pass through, right? Pass through this kind of thing called adversity, all right? But through all this and other material resources, welcome back. See yourself. Understand why you're here, my friend. I'm actually talking to the old souls here on this planetary, on this journey. Let's now all learn to understand our patterns of thought, all right? Our biases, our triggers, our mental conditioning. Welcome to your computer, the mental computer. Yeah. Now that you're more aware, self-aware, it's so powerful. It's so powerful for you to know this as a tool, and also a tool that you can practice for your personal transformation, leading you towards a more authentic, fulfilling life. Man, the more authentic that you can be, the more you can drop down your mask that you're carrying, right? The more value you're going to share and have and see and feel. And guess what? You'll be dropping some of that baggage if you are the old soul on this wonderful self-discovery journey. My friend, we're only here for a short time. Never, before we transition to something else. So in the meantime, hope you do discover yourself. If you're a new soul, or congratulations on this for your journey. Everything's a little bit sparkly for you. And you tend to get in trouble too, because you're over accelerating yourself to extremity and catching all this anxiety that is not even yours, but you think it's yours. But through the power of non-engagement, my new soul, you'll be able to really find out who you really are and why you're here. Anyway, moving on to, let's focus on concentration, mindfulness, and observation. All right. So once we become on the journey as a pilot of this and start driving your vehicle on this journey, and by training your mind, right, in your vessel, right, your body is your vessel, by training your minds, you'll be able to return to the present moment with a snap of the finger, just like this, right? We become more adept to managing distractions and improving our productivity. Right? This heightened focus is a valuable asset in our fast-paced world, my friends. We're moving so quickly with technology. I don't have to mention that because I mentioned a lot about working with AI and how paced. Don't forget, the faster we move with knowledge, the faster our thinking becomes, the faster our consciousness accelerated, and the faster that, and also there's a counter reaction to that too. The unconscious world is just as fast, or tries to be just as fast as you, to just keep up with the circle of life. All right, so hey, you have the option of coming off that treadmill, my friends. It feels good to be on Christmas at the time. Everyone's having a break. Some of us got winter Christmas. Some of us got a summer Christmas. So, it's wonderful. So celebrate the moments here. But again, learning is probably the opportunity right now to learn in this peaceful space, to learn, right? To learn, just find that safe space, in the setting that allows you just to lay back and think about. And no, not think, just allow the thoughts to come in, and without practicing the non-engagement. Okay, so the impact on relationships. Let's talk about importance of relationships, right? All this time we've led to Christmas, I've seen a lot of people fold aside and fight with their best friends, and really made something what's really irrelevant to something's relevant, in the name of getting clarity. And but this is probably a moment of forgiveness, right, and compassion to those that are going through that self-discovery channel. So observing our thoughts, we improves our relationships with others. That's the benefit. And this practice creates empathy and understanding, allowing you and us and everyone else to respond to others with kindness rather than be judgmental in our interactions. Then our interactions become more meaningful and much more authentic, getting to the state of authenticity. Okay, so embracing impermanence. Wow, right? Embracing the impermanence. Nothing stays the same. Everything is in change form. You, my friend, listen to this podcast. One day you might, you've landed. Something's connected with you and the ether, and you've landed on this podcast. Welcome. And but this is impermanence. Life is impermanent, and you'll hear this, and you'll hear some other stuff, and this will be dissolving. But just understanding the core, right? The core of impermanence, the acceptance of impermanence, the ability to accept impermanence is the core tenet of Buddhism. If you like Buddhism, um, it goes through like the practice of observation, recognizing that all thoughts and emotions are temporary, impermanent. We create this sense of peace. You can create a sense of peace and an understanding of this. Actually, alleviates the fear of loss and change, again, creating this empowerment to embrace this life's uncertainties, the power of understanding, surrender, forgiveness, and compassion. That's it there. So, yeah, everything is impermanent. What about now talking about mindful decision making? Yes, I'm throwing a lot at you, but you can always come back to this podcast and, you know, come back to any piece of this thing. There's a lot of information here, and I'm not doing this podcast to overwhelm you, but just to give you a guideline of what's available and what sort of hope is there to, create that, the equanimity and that centerness of peacefulness and yeah. So mindful decision making. Let's talk to that now. When we look at that, it's the ability to observe our thoughts, and that leads to more mindful decision making, more peaceful, from a space of peace. And when we detach our impulsive reactions, get away from that, right? We can weigh our options more thoughtfully. We can now build in the hope, and leading to choices that align with our values and long-term goals. This mindful approach, right, will enhance, overall quality of life. So what about integrating the mindfulness in daily life? How can we practice this? How can we build this up together? As an observer into when we become the observer in our daily life, it'll it's a it is a transformative practice, by the way. Whether in a moment of stress or joy or sorrow, the ability to step back and go beyond yourself, my friends, and just be the observer, but also by taking that breath mentioned earlier, it so becomes enriching. It becomes an enriching experience for you. This integration creates this sense of continuity between our meditative practice and our everyday interaction. Imagine doing that every day. I know that you guys who are meditators and who are old souls, always looking for your tools, your known tools or practice tools that you get into this state. And yeah, but for new souls, you've got a lot to learn. So what about the path to inner peace? How do we get into the inner peace? Now, this practice of non-engagement would lead us towards inner peace. As we observe our thoughts, without attachments, we create this a calm center within ourselves. This inner peace radiates like outwards, influencing our interactions and enhancing our overall well-being. Imagine that, the path to inner peace, having this, by forms of anchoring, as mentioned in NLP, or there's many ways of, or even practicing mindfulness, or the powerful understanding, the understanding and the awareness of, and the practice of not engaging, or you don't have to engage and give life to those stories, right? Stories that you keep telling, repeating to yourself. Man, we need to solve those stories, all right? Put them to rest as soon as possible to find your equanimity in this life, this peace. Well, my friends, What a wonderful journey it's been with you on this particular episode, this podcast, right? The power of non-engagement with thought, this practice, this ability to transform our relationship with our minds and and, and get out of this kind of relational trauma with our minds through just becoming the observer. How wonderful is it to be able to create this awareness and this resilience and an ability to show compassion to ourselves and others around us, and through forgiveness, and an ability to navigate the complexities of our thoughts and emotions, and finding that there's peace somewhere there in between, beyond you, of what you, beyond this body, right? This vehicle that you inherited through the power of creation of the universe, God, Mother Nature, the universe, all this quantum physics stuff and whatever, right? All this, but you, as the creation, also the creator, sitting still and from beyond, and that you're not, and then you have the knowledge that to say that that this thinking, these thoughts does not define you. You're beyond this, and then you start embracing the role of the observer. And then you start opening the doors to the more mindful, peaceful, fulfilled existence in this life. And then all of a sudden you have this echoing of wisdom, of ancient Buddhism practice just waiting for you to discover. The power of stillness, peacefulness. Well, my friends, as mentioned earlier, I'm slowly taking a sip of my coffee to get myself into the peaceful state. I want to take you on a journey, on a meditation, the power of non-engagement with thoughts. So I welcome you to this meditation if you just arrived at the end of it, where together we explore the power of non-engagement and thoughts. I invite you to find a comfortable position. Now, whether you're sitting down or laying down, in a space where you feel like safe, your safety space. It feels secure, where it feels so secure for you, where maybe you can reach the space of equanimity, the center, and just allow yourself to settle in. I invite you to close your eyes gently, and if you feel comfortable, just take a gentle deep breath in, and filling your lungs, and slowly just exhaling. Just feeling and releasing any tension in your body. And as you begin to breathe deeply, and bring your awareness to the present moment, and feel the connection of your body to the ground. Now breathe in. With each breath in, imagine drawing in calmness and serenity. And with each breath out, let go of any distractions or worries from your day. And now observing the breath. Now gently shift your focus to your breath. Notice the natural rhythm of your inhalation and exhalation. Just here, there is no need to change anything. Just simply observe how your breath flows in and out. And as an observer, imagine yourself as an observer of your thoughts. Just as a cloud passes through the sky, allow your thoughts to drift in and out of your awareness. You are not your thoughts. You are not this body. You are the space in which they arise. Welcome the thoughts, and as the thoughts begin to surface, welcome them with an open heart, acknowledging their presence without judgment. There is no need to engage or resist them. Just simply notice them as they come by and go. And creating this safe space, visualize a space that you know, a space around you, a space that you know in your mind's eye, that you've been there somewhere before, or just create a space of peacefulness. And this is your sanctuary, where you can explore your mind freely. And in this space, you are free from judgment, and all thoughts are accepted. And here we learn to process painful thoughts. If painful memories or thoughts arise of the past, observe them gently. Instead of pushing them away, acknowledge their existence. Allow yourself to feel their weight without becoming overwhelmed. Recognizing intrusive thoughts. As intrusive thoughts come to the forefront, recognize them as your thoughts. They do not define who you are. With each breath, let them float by like leaves on a stream, noticing them without the attachment. Non-judgmental awareness. Embrace a non-judgmental awareness. Release the need to label your thoughts as good or bad, and simply observe their nature, their duality. This acceptance creates a space for compassion, understanding of your thoughts. Emptying the mind now. Focus on emptying your mind. With each inhale, focusing just on the inhale. Gather your thoughts and with each exhale, release them. And feel the lightness that comes with just letting go. The nature of thoughts, remember that thoughts are fleeting and impermanent. They arise, linger, and fade away. And acknowledging the transient nature of your thoughts. And let that realization bring beautiful peace to you now. Cultivate patience. Allow yourself to cultivate patience. It is natural for thoughts to arise, but with practice you can learn to observe them calmly. Give yourself permission to take this time for yourself. Building emotional resilience. As you observe your thoughts, notice how your emotions resilience develops. You're becoming more adapted at facing challenges with a calm mind. Feel the strengths that come from the practice. Now let's look at fostering hope. And in this space of the observation, foster the sense of hope. When thoughts of despair arise, acknowledge them and create room for optimism. Let the light of hope shine through your awareness. And the journey of self-discovery. Recognize that this practice is a journey of self-discovery. With each observation, You learn more about your patterns and triggers. Embrace this exploration with a gentle heart. Embracing focus and concentration. As you continue to observe, notice how your focus and concentration improves. You are training your mind to return to the present moment, enhancing your ability to engage with life fully. Improving relationships. Reflect on how these practices impact your relationships. As you become a better observer of your thoughts, you also develop empathy and understanding towards others. Embracing the impermanence. When you understand that all thoughts and emotions are temporary, this acceptance can alleviate fear and open up to life's possibilities. Mindful decision making. As you create the ability to observe, the practice of being the observer as you're observing now, notice how your decision making becomes more mindful. You can choose to respond that aligns with your values, leading to more authentic life. And integrating mindfulness begins to visualize, and as you begin to visualize how you can integrate this mindfulness practice into your daily life, imagine taking moments throughout your day and pause and observe your thoughts and bringing calm and clarity to your life. The path to inner peace, and feel the inner peace that arises from your practice. And with each breath that you take, you are creating a calm and center within yourself. Allow this peace to radiate outwards, affecting all the aspects of your life. Gratitude for the present moment. Bring to mind a sense of gratitude for this present moment, for all your experiences. Doesn't matter how you've perceived them. They're all beautiful, even the harshest ones that you actually might be grappling with. Appreciate the time you have dedicated to your well-being and recognize the efforts you are putting into your mental health now. Doing the work. Returning to your breath now. Gently return your focus to your breath. Take a few deep breaths now. And nourishing breaths, feeling the air, feel your lungs, and release as you exhale. And as we begin to close this meditation, my friends, slowly bring your awareness back to your surroundings. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently opening your eyes when you feel ready, taking the time. And let's reflect on our experience here. Take a moment now to reflect on your experience. What did you notice about your thoughts? How did it feel to adopt the role of as observer? Now carrying the practice forward now. And as you move forward from this meditation, carry the practice of observation with you. Remember that you can always return to this space of non-engagement and allow it to enrich your life and enhance your journey towards peace and understanding. And thank yourself for taking this time for yourself to be in the practice of observation. Welcome back, my friends. This has ended our meditation. Hope that you've enjoyed and you found peace in it. This is Nick Chance of Holistic Health Anxiety Coaching, also from Anxiety podcasts, Anxiety Talks podcast. So if you found this valuable, if you'd like to pass this on, subscribe to us, like us, much appreciated. You don't know what other soul needs to hear that. There might be the soul right next to you. So all the best to our next episode. All the best, and have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful reflective life. Bye for now.